Oh yeah.
Well, we made it up the New River to Port 32, but for some reason the hoist wasn't available, so we're having to spend a night in the water before they haul us out tomorrow. It's so funny how your boat looks so tiny when it's surrounded by much larger boats. But to us, she's huge.
We drop the fins on this one, we got to pull the main sea chest valves like on that Verve, but this one's got a little more room. It's tight, but it's...
We're going up. We are going up.
That's a proper oil-based shaft, not this is a proper system, you know.
We're hauling out at Port 32 in Fort Lauderdale, and we're having Mike Henderson and his team do the work. A previous captain recommended Mike.
So we're going to have the seals on these guys replaced. We're going to have a bottom job done. Going to inspect, replace all the anodes. Well, that prop speed works.
We actually didn't plan to haul out the boat originally, but it turns out a couple of the valves in the raw water manifold are stuck. We can't properly close them. And what that means is we can't truly isolate the sea strainers or the water to any of the consumers like the engines or the generators, the water makers, stuff like that. So if we had to, we basically couldn't check on one of the sea strainers because we could not close the valves, unless we wanted to sink, of course. So we had to haul out, and that's what we're doing. One of the main things that Mike's team is going to be working on is those valves, and he recently did a Moonen, another Dutch boat, pretty much the exact same work, valve work on the raw water manifold. I checked that out before it launched, and boy, did it look very similar to this boat. They're both Dutch boats. As you probably saw there's actually two sea strainers, a port and a starboard. In between is the raw water manifold with pipes for and valves for the main engines, two main engines, the two diesels, the water maker, a fire pump, air conditioning, and then a spare in case something needs to be added later. And then here's actually the two sea strainer baskets. They're kind of stainless steel that I've taken out finally and cleaned. And the housings for these baskets you see are a bit rusty, but they're all going to be blasted and cleaned up as well. We probably hauled out right around 2:30. By about 3:30, we're up on blocks. And then by about 4:30, Mike and his team were already removing the fins from the Naiad stabilizers. This boat originally had Naiad stabilizers, but they were replaced in around 2010, 2012 or so to be larger and set up so that they can be used at rest and anchor, powered by the generator. So these are actually pretty large fins for a boat this size. The fins are mounted on a tapered shaft, and the only way to get them off is to use a special tool. You screw it into the end of the shaft. It's got an O-ring, and then you pump oil in there with a little hydraulic pump, and you just keep pumping, and eventually it pops off.
Tight as that. Yep.
There we go.
Opa!
Bam.
Nice job. All right.
Nothing like a little non-compressible fluid
Yeah.
to argue with the fin.
Yeah.
So that was never seas you put on the threads before you stick it in there?
Yes, sir. That's why we don't gall the nut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to gall it for you. Then we got a big problem.
Yeah.
You see how really generous with the never seas.
Yes. Let's see, you're quite gentle with this whole process. Never.
Yeah, it's all fine thread. I don't want to ruin your threads.
Yeah. So that is the magic tool.
Yep.
You thread it into the nut.
ring here on the shaft.
Yeah, and then I guess this is what's sliding out to pop it?
No,
There's
this
something in
fluid. The fluid comes in here and expands the shaft.
Okay.
This and it seals with the O-ring on the bottom of the shaft.
Roger that. Got
And
it.
this creates the pressure in the sleeve.
Yeah.
If you look inside this fin, it's got the metal sleeve, and that's a shaft. And it just expands it, just like probably your props are the same way.
Yeah. I'll check it out. when
Yeah,
we take it
I
off.
bet I have to look at your props. I can tell just by looking at it. And that's it.
Yes, very smooth indeed.
So you got the panel split.
And here's the other fin.
Getting tight? Yeah.
Holy cow.
Hoppa! All right, boys, take the pressure off. One down, 2 to go, Cap. That video make us look like we know what we're doing, huh?
Absolutely.
That's this guy here, Zach Henderson. Yeah, right. What's your number, Zach? Say it for the camera.
Come on, Zach.
He does.
I felt bad, but he was in my shot. I just tried to.
All right.
Gotta get the action.
Down there, we just gotta move the wood. Right. Hey, help hold it, Wilson. Let's go up for it. Here, just kind of guide it on the step. You gotta go. Here. You gotta go up. You gotta kick the Madeira out. All the pressure sitting on the wood. Yeah, it's all resting on the wood. I don't want to bend it. It's gonna come down. I might just lay it down. Arriba. It ain't, you gotta go slow. You just can't arriba. Nah, it's gonna come out. All right. Slide it out. Slide it out. See if it'll come down. There you go. Bring it out.
Holy
I need there you go.
Whew, keep your fingers out of there. Well, there's our port side fin. Get a good view of it. I thought it was steel, but it's actually fiberglass with the steel plate on the bottom. That's a nice metal bore in there. I was making a roast beef sandwich again today for lunch, and I really wanted mustard, but I couldn't find it. So I sent these 3 pictures to my wife, Lao Po. She sent this back. I mean, come on. I looked.
Wow, it's amazing. The boat had about a 3 degrees list to port. And surprising how much that was bugging me. I can now eat my ice cream in peace because that list is gone.
Look at this beautiful, sneaky little electric boat. I think that's like a cork deck.
I need to add shut off the cat feeder to the checklist when we are leaving the boat for a while.
So I'm going to be staying on board while we're on the hard. So we have gotten some AC, outside AC, plumbed in through that hose, basically that pipe, up into the day head, and that's literally going to fill the boat with cold air. The whole boat should get nice and chilly just from this one giant unit. These guys at A1 Marine, you know, we signed up with them at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they squeezed us in before heading home, so that's going to be nice and comfortable for this evening. There's a 40-footer. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's quite a workout to put 100 feet worth of shore power cable into the world's largest Ziploc bag. But we're right next to the I-95 interstate, and there's a lot of soot that comes down, and everybody said, you're gonna wanna cover that, or else it's gonna be a mess. So our neighbor's got a fresh bottom job, new prop feed, All sorts of work done. And today's his big day to splash back into the water. All that noise is from some pressure washing happened on another neighbor. So I'm just doing some minor help with the guys working on the boat. So I'm not really working in the boatyard, but still I have the urge to wash my hands like every 10 minutes. I guess you just get used to it. You don't wash your hands except maybe right before you eat lunch, or maybe you just hold the wrapper and you don't wash until the end of the day. But it is impossible to keep your hands clean. Gloves, I suppose. How about that? All right, you get the blue. What's that? This is your second layer. How many layers? Very nice. El Tamarindo. Anthony Bourdain actually visited this place. So right now it's just me here. My Laupois is not here. So I have basically exploded into the space, and there's now junk everywhere. I tend to start lots of projects and try to keep them all up in the air at the same time, juggling balls. I've removed this ladder, I've removed the drawers, I've removed the Starlink, I've opened panels, and all these things are kind of just works in progress. I like to think about things while I'm doing them, and that way I can start something, think about it, start something else, think about it, and just keep on doing that. Of course, all these projects that I've got going on concurrently have to come together in the next 5, maybe 6 days. So hopefully our next video will have a bunch of completed projects. How about that? Where are we going, Bumpkin? We going back to Texas? Yeah?